Welcome to Minds in Motion with Dr. K. This is episode 1. We had our introductory episode and we had our trailer, and so now this is episode 1. Uh, this podcast is just going to dive into the stories and insights of high performing leaders who are passionate about shaping the world. Join us as we explore their journeys, successes, and wisdom that they have gained along the way. I am your host, Dr. K, and today I am going to be going solo, and I want to talk to you about, are you leading with emotional intelligence? It's a big buzzword that's happening right now, and I just want to touch just slightly on what that can look like in the workplace. We are in a time when we need to move forward with fortitude so that we can create impact as leaders who are leading this new generation. There's now a time where age, race, and demographic is not a barrier to championing any cause. So these young leaders, what are they doing? They're harnessing their power. To do this, it takes recognizing their worth. They're harnessing their strength, talent, and abilities so that they can lead from a strong place. So I want you to just take a moment as we tap into this current time that we're in. We're living in a time of great change with this new generation entering the workforce. We have the Gen Zs, we have the millennials, and we have the Gen Xers. The workforce have to be more agile and knowing when to pivot to create space for them. Having this new generation in the workforce and stop seeing them as having this new generation in the workforce. One of the things that leaders need to do is stop seeing them as entitled. I hear it all the time. I coach executives all day long. And I hear, the more tenured leaders saying, they're entitled. But are they really? They were born in an entirely different era. In an era when, they were literally like born with some type of digital, instrument in their hand, whether it's an iPad or iPhone or whatever tablet that they were using. So yes, they are different. They were raised to ask why. And so now we have to understand, how do we work with them? How do we collaborate with them? How do we bridge the gap with them to give them some structure so they can be the next future great leaders that we are looking for? They experience some of the same things and have some of the same needs. They want to be seen now. The difference with them and the previous generation, we were quieter as we observed things. We may have complained among ourselves, but we didn't. Most of us didn't speak up enough. But this generation is no hold bars. They're speaking up and they're asking for what they want. So what they're looking for, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to feel appreciated, and they want to have a seat at the table. Are you making that room for diversity and inclusion? And being mindful that even though there's the diversity, is there also the inclusivity? Because that's important, because we can have a diverse organization, but people still don't feel included. Is there a sense of belonging happening in the organization, and can they see allyship happening? So you want to be mindful that these things are happening. As this new generation, as they strive to harness their power, they're going to ask why, right? And to answer with clarity, you want to be that leader who is clearly communicating the why and asking, maybe some of the right coaching questions. That might be a thing, creating that coaching environment. Maybe asking, what is the outcome you are looking to achieve? If you were to make different choices, what will those choices be? What will it look like? What will you do first? How will you be able to sustain it? depending on what they're looking for. Ask some of these coaching questions so you can pull out from them, the answers that they're looking for, So asking those questions will make a huge difference. So just a checkpoint, so something that you can note. You see, when they know the why, there will be less resistance to change. So one of the other things that they're looking for in the workplace is psychological safety. Is there kindness? How are you creating space for them to show some empathy? They're seeking empathetic leaders. This generation is looking for leaders who are emotionally intelligent and who are operated in a state of awareness. So ask yourself, if you're listening to this podcast today, am I an aware leader? Am I showing up with awareness? A good question to ask yourself. Are you aware of yourself and how you're showing up? Are you aware of others? Are you showing up as your authentic self? So if you are a leader listening, how are you showing up? I will definitely encourage you to take some time and do some introspection. See where there may be some gaps. If this generation is not getting what they need, the company will begin having a revolving door. So you want to be mindful that they are getting what they need. So when we talk about leading, I have an acronym for that. LEAD. L. Are you listening? And are you actively listening to understand, to learn, and not just to respond? Because a lot of times we listen to respond and then we totally disregard what the person was saying. The E, are you equipping your employees to succeed? Is there employee engagement? How is the motivation? Are they intrinsically or extrinsically motivated? The A, are you showing appreciation? And are you operating from a more agile perspective? The D is the big one. Are you delegating? A lot of times, some leaders might be a little more, what I want to call this, I'm a perfectionist. And I feel if I don't do it, it probably wouldn't get done right. So if you are that type of leader, I would say to just do a mind check. Because that's not true. Because if you have a team and you're not delegating to them, then how are you growing them? You got to give them some stretch assignments. You got to give them things that will help them to grow and become better performers. But if you keep everything on your desk, you're doing two things. You're preventing the growth of your team, and you also burning yourself out. So work on delegating. Be mindful to check to ensure that who you're delegating to has the capacity to take on the excess work, and you're able to stretch them. So just be mindful, but delegate as much as you can. Because the higher you go as a leader, you're more in that visionary big picture. You don't need to be in the weeds, micromanaging all the time. So you got to ensure that you don't need to be at every single meeting. If there is someone that's a little more senior on the team, send them to represent you. So then you can create some more white space on your calendar to do some things that are more strategic and less tactical. So I want you to just think of these things. These are just a few quick nuggets that I wanted to drop with you today on Minds in Motion with Dr. K. I hope something that I said today resonates with you, that can help you become an even better leader. Because you have to remember, people leave leaders, or as they say, leave managers, not organizations. But there's a clear delineation between a leader and a manager. That's something we'll go into another time. But I want you to remember, people leave leaders, not organization. So do some regular check-ins and see how you're showing up. And if you're not showing up as your best self, then it's time to do something differently. Find out, am I operating as that emotionally intelligent leader? Am I showing up in a state of awareness? Am I showing up with some empathy? And remember to avoid over leveraging some of those strengths as well. So you want to find that balance. So this is Dr. K. If you are needing any of this type of support with emotional intelligence, coaching your leaders, please reach out to me at empoweru.io, and that's MPOWERU.io, and I can definitely you can get in contact with me there. So this is your girl, Dr. K, with Minds in Motion. So until next week, make it a great day. Bye.